So you've probably seen the news by now that Diddy has been acquitted of 3 of the most serious charges that he was on trial for. Now, of course, like so many other people, I'm horrified by this, but I'm not surprised by his acquittal. And the reason for that is purely because I have a good understanding of the past. So let me explain to you why men so often walk away when they've committed crimes against women, especially crimes of a violent or sexual nature. Now, first of all, we need to go back to the ancient Near East, to the so-called cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia, to the moment when humans stop living nomadic, hunting, gathering lifestyles and develop agriculture. So they move to permanent settlement and they farm the land. Now, when this happens, 2 key things also happen. Number 1, women were used to keep the peace between tribes. So populations are increasing, people are competing over land to farm, there is more conflict. Now, what would be the most effective way for a tribe to secure a woman's loyalty when she has no kin or connection to that new tribe? Well, likely it was through coercion, sexual violence, and that would also likely result in a pregnancy. And that pregnancy would bind her to the new tribe. Secondly, because agriculture was so intensive, women's reproductive abilities were commodified. So a woman's ability to have a child became a tribe's most precious resource, more precious than land. And this was purely because farming was very intensive. A woman needed to have lots of children because those children provided labour. They could do all the tasks on the farm. And then, when tribes came together to form larger societies, so the very first city-states, guess what happened? The use and abuse of women's sexuality became institutionalised. So, if we look at the Code of Hammurabi from about 1754 BC, that's one of the earliest law codes that we've got, rape was not a crime against a woman, it was a crime against her male guardian. So, if she was unmarried, that would be her dad. If she was married, that would be her husband. It was a property crime. If a woman committed adultery, likewise, she could be drowned, but the same punishment was not applied to a man. Now, you might be thinking, okay, fine, but what does ancient Mesopotamia have to do with the US in 2025? Well, ancient Greece adopted many of Mesopotamia's ideas and practices because of its close contact through things like trade, conquest and migration. And then guess what? Ancient Rome emulated ancient Greece. And then guess what? Western civilizations like the UK, like the US, emulated the Romans. And this ongoing theme of a woman's body as an asset, as a resource, and the fundamental principle of male sexual entitlement has gone largely unchallenged ever since. Now, I mean, it was not until 1991 that marital rape became a crime in the UK. 1991. I could go on about this all day. And if you want me to go into more depth on the legislation over the last 2,000 years, I'd be very happy to do so. But for now, what the Diddy trial shows us is that without cultural change, without a collective reckoning of what we inherited, things will never change. We will continue to see men abuse women and face very few consequences for that. That is the reality. Just this week, a study from the US came out. 1/3 of young men admitted that they would rape a woman if they knew they wouldn't face a consequence for that. 1/3. This is the reality of what we've inherited. And this is why I say that it's only through cultural change, not legislation, only through culture, that we will change the situation and ensure that women really do get justice when men have committed crimes against